Hello my lovelies, welcome to today's video. We are doing this really fun kind of monochromatic purple look. It actually wasn't what I intended. The lips actually ended up being a little bit of a surprise, but it worked out really well, so let's just get right into it. Starting of course with just a little bit of Scotch tape on the corners of my eyes to keep our lines nice and sharp. And then we're going to prime the eyelids with some of the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, just taking a little bit of that and blending it out with a sponge. Once that is all blended out, I am going to go ahead and just set it down with some of the Airspun translucent setting powder to make sure my eyeshadow isn't patchy or anything like that. Then we are jumping into the Makeup Revolution and Patricia Bright Rich in Color palette, and we are starting with the shade Birthday Cake, which is this really pretty kind of lilac lavendery shade. It also has maybe a little bit of a pink tone to it, and it's not quite matte, it has a little bit of shimmer to it. And my camera is going to go just a little bit fuzzy here in a minute. I thought I could tell that it was going out of focus, but then it looked like it went back in. So this eyeshadow part is a little out of focus in some spots, so I apologize for that. But we're going to take that Birthday Cake shadow and first pack it on the lid with a little dense flat brush. Then I am just blending it out pretty much almost all the way up to the brow bone with a fluffy brush. And then once it's all nice and diffused, I am just building that shade up on the lids a little bit more to bring back the pigment. Then I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more dimension. I had originally planned on just kind of leaving it all pastel, but I'm jumping into the shade Reckless, which is like a really pretty deep matte true purple shade. And you can see I'm kind of figuring out how much I want to use. Basically what I end up doing is basically the outer V area and maybe about 1/4 of the way onto the lid here. Just really softly blending it out right along the tape, and like I said, maybe about a 1/4 or a 1/3 of the way in on the eyelid, and I'm just really winging it out with that deep purple color so that it goes to a gradient to the outer edge there. I wanted to bring it through the crease just a little bit, like I said, to add some more dimension, so I did take just the tiniest little bit of it on a fluffy little brush and brought that about a 1/3 of the way through the crease, just ever so slightly. And then I am just finishing up, blending, adding a little bit more product where needed, and then we're going to move on to liner. And I had originally planned on using my gel liner. You can see I even said a prayer to the liner gods, and I have no clue what is happening here. I literally used this just last weekend when I filmed my previous video, and it just did not want to apply over this shadow. So we're not going to struggle with it, we're just going to use a liquid liner instead. Using the Ipsy and Betty Boop Drawn to You eyeliner, which is one of my favorites. Starting out by kind of drawing where I want my wings to be, and then we're just going to connect it through to the inner corner. And then I just kind of fill in the gaps along the lash line, and then I fill in the rest of the wing to connect it up to kind of like the lid line, if that makes sense. And then once we have that all done, we're going to go ahead and peel off our tape, and we will go ahead and move on to the face for just a minute. I'm going to clean out, I got a little bit crazy with the eyeshadow here, so I'm going to clean that off first. Then we're going to jump onto the face, starting with the Tarte Base Tape Primer. Just a really hydrating primer. I did intend to use a pore filling primer, but that did not happen. I just totally spaced it, I don't know, but it ended up being fine without it. So we're just applying that all over the face, and then we're jumping in with the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. And I'm almost out. I'm so sad. I will definitely have to repurchase because this is definitely one of my favorite foundations. And we are just going to go ahead and blend that all over the face. Whenever I use this foundation, I always put it on and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way too light for me. And then I realized that I just have a lot of redness on my face because it totally matches the rest of my body when I'm done. We're going to use just a tiny bit of concealer because I did blend the foundation most of the way underneath my eyes. I am just using the Yensa BC concealer here, kind of spreading it out a little bit with a brush first, and then I'm going to blend out the majority underneath the eye with the sponge. And then once that is all blended out, we are going to go ahead and go back with the excess just left on the small little brush and just ever so softly conceal in that inner corner there. Then once that is all blended out, we are going to go ahead and set the whole face down with the Coty Airspun powder again. And I'm just taking it on a small little brush here. I don't want to use setting spray, I want to keep the face pretty matte. So I am only using a little bit of a powder at a time to avoid over powdering and making it look really dry and cakey. So we're just going to get everything set down, and then I'm going to jump back and finish up the eyes really quick. Starting of course with our lighter purple shade here on a little short shader brush, and just buffing it into the lower lash line. It does go a little fuzzy again here too, I apologize. And then I actually wanted to really buff it out with a fluffy brush, but I couldn't find one that would work that was small enough, so I just took this same brush at a little bit more of an angle and just did like a really kind of messy blend to make it a little bit more noticeable, pronounced on the lower lash line. Then I'm taking just the tiniest bit of the deeper purple about halfway across the lower lash line, again just adding the dimension to the lower lash line as well. And then giving the brow bone area a final blend, and I'm really just buffing everything out right into the brow now. So with the eyeshadow done, we're going to go ahead and finish up the face, bronzing today with the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzer. This is the lighter version, and I'm just taking that kind of in my typical places, right underneath my cheekbones, and then a little bit of the way up my temple. You can't really see my forehead anymore with my bangs, so I don't bother doing that area at the moment. And then of course we're taking a little smaller angled fluffy brush to just bring that down the sides of the nose. Kind of how you would do a contour, but really I'm just bringing a little bit of the warmth to the center of my face. Then we are going to go ahead and blush with the BH Cosmetics Vanilla Truffle Blush Palette, just this top kind of cooler pinky shade. I think this blush brush still has some glowy blush in it because the color didn't quite match what I was expecting, but it still worked. And then we are going to be using this new highlighter that I got in my Ipsy bag, and it's really pretty. It gives a really nice kind of natural glow from within. It's really pretty. But I was going for more of a kind of beaming highlight. So you can see I try to kind of do my initial highlight, then I'm going to try and really go back in to get it to get to the point where I want, but it doesn't really. I'm going to take that same highlighter on my brow bone to bring a little bit of highlight to that area. And then it was a little bit too kind of like warm for the inner corner, so I was going to use this Makeup Forever one. But you can see here I try a little bit and it just was not cutting it. So I'm jumping back to my Juvia's Place highlighter, which is my absolute favorite, and oh my gosh, you guys. This is my absolute new favorite inner corner highlight. Like, look at how just like wet and glowing that looks. You can tell that I'm just obsessed with it. And so after I put that in the inner corner, I had to throw a little bit on the rest of the face as well, so on the brow bones, and then of course I did the cheeks and the nose as well, because we gotta glow. And then that's really going to be it for the face, so we're going to go ahead and finish up the eyes here, curling our lashes, and then adding some of the Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. And then I'm going to be popping on these Ardell, they're the Faux Mink Demi Wispies. These for me are like my lashes but better kind of lash. Like, they're not super dramatic, but they are really pretty. And I really, really want to use my Ultra Blotted Lip from the Sailor Moon collection, either one of them. But you can see I've tried on here and it just doesn't work. So I'm kind of looking around, trying to find other things. Accidentally smacked myself in the neck with this one, which hurt. And then I found this lipstick from ColourPop, which is the shade Cheetah. I actually thought it was going to be a different color, so I was surprised when it was the purple one. And I tried it on and I just knew I had to use it. And just do a whole purple look. And so I'm starting by getting my lines clean, because with this shade it doesn't always go on perfect the first swipe. You have to kind of build it up. So I build up my edges and then fill it in the rest of the way to the pigmentation that I like. And I'm obsessed with it. Like, I love it. I love this lipstick anyways. But yeah, I am just living for this look, you guys. I hope you guys love it too, because I'm just obsessed with it. And that is going to do it for this video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Those mean so much to me. It honestly is so helpful, so I really appreciate you guys. Please also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I post a new video, otherwise YouTube will not let you know. And yeah, I will see you guys all in my next one. Thank you so much for watching!